Getting children back into the classroom. I'm Matt Smith, today on Upfront. The state's largest school district is still holding classes virtually 1 year after the pandemic started. What it'll take to get Milwaukee children back into the classroom, I'll ask the president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association next. Plus, a new approach to curbing growing violence in Madison. Mayor Sadia Rhodes Conway on the roadmap ahead. And a wave of GOP retirements in the U.S. Senate. What it could mean for Wisconsin's 2022 Senate race.
Taking on the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with your host, Adrian Pedersen.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt Smith in for Adrian, who is on maternity leave. We have just passed the 1-year anniversary of the COVID-19 pandemic when life as we knew it ground to a halt. Today on Upfront, we're looking at efforts to get all Wisconsin school children back in the classroom. Vaccinations started for Wisconsin teachers this past week, but it's up to individual districts to decide when kids go back to class if they haven't already. Madison Public Schools just announced a plan to return all grades to in-person learning next month. Other districts like Green Bay and Wausau returned most of their students to classrooms this month. That leaves the state's largest district, Milwaukee Public Schools, still holding classes virtually with a plan to phase in-person learning in April. The Milwaukee Teachers Union has pushed for vaccines as a condition to return to the classroom. So has that time arrived now? We're asking Amy Mizielko, the president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association. Amy, good to see you. Thank you for your time. At this point, what percentage of MPS teachers have received at least their first dose of the vaccine?
I don't have that information. What I can say for sure is I know that thousands of educators went through for their first shot last week. We've had other educators go through again this week. There is some difficulty in tracking because in addition to the Wisconsin Center, folks have also gone to, say, a pharmacy or their personal physician. But you know, we've seen lots of Milwaukee Public School educators posting their vaccine selfie over the past 10 days.
The mayor said this past week that the city is on track to ensure that teachers are vaccinated to begin in-person learning, the return in April. Can you guarantee that MPS students will be in the classroom by the end of April as the current plan says?
I can't because I'm not one of the 9 individuals who will make that decision on March 23rd. That's our publicly elected school board. I think that vaccinations are a fundamental mitigation strategy, but they are not the only mitigation strategy. We have been concerned as a union about our community at large and the availability and accessibility to the community at large in Milwaukee. So a well-distributed vaccine in all of our neighborhoods is extremely important. And, you know, we're heartened to see more supply come along. You know, it seems to be good news from the Biden administration. But, you know, we're also concerned about other mitigation factors that will need to be upheld, even with the vaccination, meaning, you know, consistency and disciplined use of wearing masks, disciplined use of social distancing, as well as just, you know, really serious issues with ventilation and air quality and air exchanges in our school buildings.
So at this point, are you behind this plan to begin that phased-in approach on April 12th? Is the union behind this plan to get kids in the classroom next month?
We don't. So, you know, I just want to be clear that, you know, all members of the MTEA are anxious and have been anxious to return to classrooms with students when it's safe. We know that the variant has been, one of the variants has been present in Milwaukee for about 6 weeks or so, and we know that there are 32 cases of the variant in the state. So, you know, we have always been in support of being in classrooms, in schools with our students when we know that it is safe to do so.
Seemingly every other district has returned to in-person in some capacity. The governor said this past week that he doesn't believe reopening should be fully dependent on teachers being fully vaccinated. So why isn't MPS in the classroom at this point?
Comparing, and I'll just say that that's a mistake on the governor's part. Comparing any other school district in the state of Wisconsin to the Milwaukee Public Schools is an unfair comparison, and everyone knows that. For a school in Elmbrook or a school in Whitefish Bay to, retrofit ventilation and make upgrades, it's a very different matter than to look at the 135 Milwaukee public schools across the city that the average age of a school building in MPS is 75 years old. The school that I began teaching at was built in 1893. So there have to be, other ways to ensure that there is adequate air exchange in classrooms for students and for staff. And families need to have that confidence and that guarantee, and they are owed that.
How much longer in your mind would that take if it's beyond the vaccinations and the mayor has said that there are enough vaccines for every teacher to be vaccinated by April? In your mind, are we looking beyond next fall for all of these solutions?
No, I think we are anxious to see a plan from the superintendent and the Milwaukee Public Schools that shows a careful, thoughtful, intentional plan that looks at all issues, including transportation.
Is there a scenario where the board would give final approval to these dates in April and teachers just wouldn't show up?
I think that the board has carefully weighed this situation for a year. And what we're all seeing in cities across the country is that even when given the opportunity to return in person, that 70, 75, 80% of families at this stage of the game in spring are opting to keep their students remote and in the routine and consistency that they have achieved this year, with an eye on a return in August, that gives everyone the confidence that they need, that every school and every classroom is prepared in a safe way.
I was going to say, the governor has also talked about this idea of perhaps allowing some districts to return early before September 1st or whatever the start date is in the fall to try to catch students up. Is that something that you would get behind, starting school early next fall?
We want our students to have every single opportunity advantage offering program support that is available to them. What we will not do is we will not legitimize this notion of learning loss. Our students in Milwaukee Public Schools and students across the nation have learned skills this year that probably families and educators never anticipated that they would learn in terms of self-direction, organization, working with peers in a new way. So we're not going to agree that a standardized test is somehow a measure of learning or somehow a measure of, learning loss.
Amy Mizielko, president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association. Amy, thank you so much, and best of luck to everyone as we navigate these uncharted waters.
Thank you very much.
More Wisconsin residents will be eligible for the vaccine soon. People who are 16 and older with certain health conditions will be able to get the COVID vaccine beginning March 29th. Those conditions include high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, asthma, cancer, and heart disease, among others, in the newly announced 1C group. In his first national address Thursday, President Biden says he'll direct states to make all adults eligible for the vaccine no later than May 1st. Coming up, violence is a growing problem in the state's capital city. I'll talk to Madison's mayor about the new plan to curb the trouble.